we begin.
Thank you so much for that music, Kat. Welcome to First Parish in Bedford, a Unitarian Universalist congregation where we come together every week as a people with diverse beliefs and a shared commitment to bring more peace, more love, more justice, and more joy into the world. Whoever you are, whether you worship one God, many gods, or no God, you are welcome here. And welcome, of course, to all our visitors this morning in person and on Zoom, and all those joining on Zoom. We're glad you're here with us today. If you are visiting, you're invited to fill out a blue connection card, which you'll find at the end of the pews, and you can give that to one of the ushers during the collection. And we would add you to our emails. And in Zoom, there will be a link in the chat that you can do that as well. For those who have little ones here with us this morning, this is an all-ages service, so we invite those of all ages to stay in the service. And if you have a particularly small one, there is a nursery available downstairs where they can also spend some time. And we're always delighted to have little ones in our sanctuary. After the service, everyone is invited to join us for fellowship and coffee and tea in the common room. But wait, there's more, because we have some announcements today, and there's a lot going on today at First Parish in Bedford. So along with that coffee and tea, you can get a baked potato. You can buy a baked potato in the common room, and it will benefit scholarship money for our partner church in Abishvalva, Transylvania. For any who don't know, we have a long-standing relationship with a Unitarian congregation out there, and so we are raising some money for their community, eating baked potatoes. What could be better? And then right after you get your baked potato and eat that, you're going to want to come back here for the vote for the capital campaign that will be happening. This is a yes-no vote on whether we should raise the money we need to invest in this building and in our future. So I'm hoping that answer is a resounding yes. And then you should stay, because later there is a Valentine's concert and a chocolate reception. What a great afternoon. That information's in your insert in your order of worship about the Valentine's concert and chocolate reception. And then next week, just to give you a little sneak preview, there will be what we're calling UU 101 session that will be upstairs after worship. That can be for people who are newer to the congregation and to Unitarian Universalism. It can be for people who've been here for like 4 decades, but you're still like, wait, I never know exactly how to explain it, or like, where did it come from? All are welcome, but it will be helpful if you can sign up, just because we want to provide the right amount of food. So look for emails that came out from me. I'll send another one with that link just to sign up for UU 101. And now is the moment you've all been waiting for, even if you didn't know you were waiting for it, because Linda Politz is going to come up and tell us the results from the chili cook-off.
So Jean and I would like to thank everybody who participated last night. We had about 60 attendees at the chili cook-off. We raised $593. Yes. We had 12 pots of chili entered, and before I tell you about the winners, I had to share with you, there are often comments that we find on the ballots. And this is a special shout out to Nancy Doherty, who took runner-up spots for both the best chili, the best veggie chili, and the best in show. And this person wrote, anonymous, for a person who's allergic and has GERD sensitivities that get in the way, number 12, that was Nancy, made the event delightful. Well done, Nancy, thank you. So for the best meat, we have Paul Bradford, and I told him if anything happens, I'm happy to marry him because it was really spectacular. Chris Gittens took the best veggie, and I understand there should be a nod to Henry on this as well, and we missed Henry terribly, but wow, spectacular. The veggie choices were fabulous last night. Richie Conrad, if you're paying attention, you better watch out, because you've got competition. Carla Bradford resoundingly burned everybody's lips off last night with the hottest chili. Thank you, Carla. And for the best in show, it was a Bradford show, so Paul, nods to you. Thank you, everyone.
For our chalice lighting this morning, with thanks to Nina and Kay for lighting our flaming chalice, we have some words by Marilyn Sewell. Come into this circle of love and justice. Come into this community where we can dream and believe in those dreams. Come into this holy space where we remember who we are and how we want to live. Come now and let us worship together.
So welcome again to our all ages service. Today is a service about making our dreams a reality. First, in having the courage to dream, in making space for imagination and new possibilities, allowing new voices and fresh ideas to come forward, which is why it's so appropriate that this is an all ages service. And as part of this, the senior youth today are going to share a little bit about their thoughts and some of their ideas for the upcoming capital campaign. And as part of that campaign, if it is a go, we are in fact setting aside a reasonable chunk of money just for the senior youth to use to create something new that they are excited about, and we're very excited about that opportunity to partner with them in reimagining the future of this church. And then later in the service, Reverend Annie is going to lead us in an exercise reflecting on times when the unlikely or even the unimaginable became suddenly possible. So you should have received an index card and a little golf pencil when you came in today. If you didn't, you can still raise your hand and the ushers will bring them to you. Hold on to those. We're going to use those later on in the service. And then finally, we're going to reflect on some of the concrete ways that we can begin to make our dreams a reality. We are in the dream business as a Unitarian Universalist community. We're here to imagine new ways of living better together, but we're also in the business of making those dreams come true here in this life, in this time, not in some ineffable, unknown hereafter. We say, as you use, we are interested in life before death, first and above all. This is a religious tradition about the human here and now, and we are determined that the thoughts in our head and the love in our hearts should make a real difference in the lives of our loved ones and ourselves and our neighbors. So in that spirit, our opening words today are by the great Shel Silverstein, also in your order of service. Listen to the mustn'ts, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves, and then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. Our opening hymn is number 1017 in your teal hymnal and on the screen. We are building a new way. Please rise in body or spirit.
Feeling stronger every day.
Get our morning calisthenics. Would you please join me in saying our unison affirmation that we say together every Sunday? The words are in your bulletin and on the screen. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia y el servicio es su ley. Este es nuestro gran pacto, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en espíritu de amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. Please be seated.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Quinn,
And my name is Now.
and we are both members of the senior youth group here at First Parish in Bedford. Senior youth group means so much for us. We love going out and helping at places like City Reach and having a space to hang out and connect with other kids our age. One part of the capital campaign you might not have heard about is the committee has agreed to set aside a small portion, $10,000 to $15,000, to help the senior youth group plan a project that matters to us. We are so grateful that you are giving us a portion of the campaign. Here are some of the things we plan on doing for now and the future youth.
So 2 weeks ago, Mark Bailey mentioned me talking about trees. Some other ideas that we've had were to create a mural or a more permanent poster, which might interest both youth and adults as a free and creative community experience, as well as more technology around the church to assist people with disabilities. A projector for movie nights is also always welcome too. If we could make our church more welcoming and interesting for all sorts of people, it could invite new opportunities and connections. New generations eventually become the old, and we want this community to stay flourishing when we come back. It will soon be our turn to lead the future youth, and it's our turn now to choose that future.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the service.
Ooh, good morning. Oh, I'm glad I got here. It's such a drive from New Hampshire, I'll tell you. Today's story is the town that kept a spare door, or spare doors. There once was a town that didn't look special at first glance. It had streets, it had trees, it had dogs that barked at bicycles. It had a library that smelled like dust and paper and glue, and a school where the bells never rang at exactly the right time. If you passed through, you might think, this is just a normal place. But if you stayed long enough, you'd notice something strange, something different. Every building in the town had a door that didn't seem to go anywhere. Sometimes it was small, set low to the ground like it was made for someone short or someone crawling. Sometimes it was tall and narrow and positioned between two windows. Some doors were painted bright yellow or deep blue. Others were plain wood, sanded smooth by years of hands resting on them. No one ever locked these doors. If you asked the people of the town why have these doors, they would just shrug. Well, it's the spare door. The spare doors weren't meant for emergencies exactly, and it wasn't for visitors, not in the usual way. The spare door was there for anyone who needed to arrive differently. One afternoon, a child named Mira noticed someone standing in front of the bakery's spare door. The person looked unsure if they were waiting for permission, and they didn't really know how to ask. Mira watched as the baker came outside, wiped the flour from their hands, and simply said, "You don't have to knock. The door already knows you're here." The door opened easily. Later that week, the school's spare door opened for a family who spoke with their hands, not with their voices. Later, new desks appeared in the classrooms, slightly rearranged. Pictures on the walls were redrawn, incorporating new colors and new faces. The playground grew in size and the school buses extended, as if the school itself had been waiting to stretch in this direction all along. Sometimes the spare doors opened for people who stayed a long time, sometimes just enough to rest. Sometimes it opened for people who had been told over and over and over and over that there was no room for them anywhere else. And sometimes the spare door opened for someone who had lived in the town their whole life, but had finally worked up the courage to say, "This is who I really am." The town changed because of having these doors. New foods appeared at potlucks. New songs were sung at celebrations. The language of the place grew wider, softer, and even more precise. People learned that listening was not the same as waiting to speak. And one day someone asked the mayor, "Aren't you afraid? What if too many people show up?" The mayor looked around at the town, at the long picnic tables, at the repainted walls, the extra shoes by every doorway, and said, "We didn't build the spare doors because we knew who would come. We built them because we wanted to become the kind of place where arrival is possible for everyone." And years later, when Mira was grown, someone asked her, "What made that town so special?" And Mira thought for one moment and said, "We had a dream, and we imagined the world we wanted to be a part of, and then we practiced leaving space for it to show up." I hope we can begin to picture a place like this in our community, where if you ever find a door that feels meant for you, it is, and it's already open.
Good morning. I'm Liz Connors, a member of the lay pastoral care team. And this is the time in our service when you are invited to come up to share a joy or a concern with all of us. We will be going to Zoom after we're done with the folks in the service, and I will be here at the end of the service at the candle stand if anyone wants to light a candle in private. Please try to keep your comments brief if possible and personal. And that about covers it. All right. I'm going to light one last candle for the joys and concerns that we hold in our hearts. And I will be at the candle stand at the end of the service if anyone would like to light a candle in private.
Thank you, Liz. So now it's time to use those tiny pencils and note cards if you have them. If you need a note card or tiny pencil, just give a wave. I see a couple folks over there. So our ushers are coming around. Thank you, ushers. So we, as Reverend Jamie mentioned, we're talking about dreams today. And I would love for you to stop and think about some dream you had at some point in the past. It could have been when you were like a young child. It could have been like last week. Something you thought, I don't know if this will ever come true. I want this to come true, but I don't know. I'm not sure. It might just never be in the cards. But somehow, in some way, it did come true. Now, I can tell you a story from when I was a kid when this happened to me. When I was a little kid, I really, really wanted to ride in a hot air balloon because there was a hot air balloon pilot who went to my UU congregation where I was growing up, and I thought she was the coolest. And we would sometimes help her by chasing her balloon in like the car, and my dad would like drive the like truck around that would like follow her balloon, and so I'd always get to see it like lift off into the sky. And I just thought, that's magic. And I just thought, but I'm never going to ride in a hot air balloon. So when I turned 14, my parents got me a hot air balloon ride with that hot air balloon pilot for my birthday. And that like blew my mind. So you maybe think of something like that, but maybe you're thinking more of something that you never thought you'd see in your lifetime that happened socially or politically. Maybe when you were young, you never thought you'd see a black president, or you never thought you'd see that same-sex marriage would be legal in the United States. Something like that. Or maybe you thought, oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to have a certain kind of loving relationship, or repair a family relationship, or raise a child, or any number of things, but it came true for you. So that's what we're thinking about and writing on these cards. And we're going to collect them during the offering. And we're going to read some of them, not every single one probably. But we want to get a sense of what dreams have come true for us, whether they're big social dreams, little dreams, childhood dreams. So, and if for any reason you don't want yours to be read, you can just make a note. Don't read, but you're welcome to contribute nonetheless. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to let you get a head start on writing your dreams. And then in a moment, we'll also begin to take the offering. That'll give you a little extra time for some cogitating and some writing. Every Sunday at First Parish, we take an offering to support the ongoing life and good works of this church. So in a minute, Steve is going to grace us with some amazing music, and ushers will come around with their baskets, and you can make a donation. There will also be a QR code on the screen if you want to give electronically, or you can go to our website at uubedford.org. So when ushers come around, you can make your donation and also return your index card. And then, as Annie said, we'll read some selections from that. So ushers, if you want to give people about another 30 seconds to write once Steve starts playing, and then you can begin taking the offering and also taking the cards.
So, where are my ushers? Can my ushers bring forward? Oh, and I'm so sorry. I am also logging into the Zoom because I realized, and I'm so sorry, Zoom people, that was so silly of me. I did not give you instructions. I'm logged in now and I can read from the chat. So if you have already or if you haven't and want to, you can add yours in the chat and those will also be included as part of it. So sorry about that and thank you. Oh, okay. I was like, what is this? Okay, perfect. Okay. Oh, but I think since I just logged in, I don't see what used to be in the chat, unfortunately. So only things going forward from this point on. I live in a loving community. That's a wonderful dream to come true. I am married to a woman I love.
Shall I sit back there?
Oh, you can. Do you want to help? Sure. Yeah. Sure. Take some. Take some.
Thank you. Awesome.
This is a dream I think has not yet come true, but maybe it's for the future. If it did come true, I'd love to hear about where this is happening. Universal regenerative food production to feed all who hunger while restoring harmony in nature, paid for by taxing billionaires. If that's happening somewhere, please let me know. Sounds very good.
This person shares becoming a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother. Riding in the Alps. Ooh. When I had cancer after our first child, I doubted I would get the second baby I so desperately wanted. Elliot is the manifestation of that dream. I always dream of living with lots of animals. Now we have 2 cats and 1 dog, and my lap is never empty. Have grandchildren. I always dreamed of owning my own home in a wonderful neighborhood, and I do.
When I was little, I used to lie in the backyard watching the clouds, wanting to fly like the birds. I think that was achieved when I began to sing, experiencing over and over again the beauty of soaring to new heights each and every time. I love that. That's beautiful. From our Zoom chat. We dreamed of becoming parents. It didn't happen for a very long time, and we were finally blessed. One person dreams to sing a whole hymn in tune and in the right key. She thinks it might be possible.
Gender accessibility for all. Passing with a score of 95 in Diffie-Q. I assume that means differential equations. Reader, it came true. I dreamed of getting over fear of flying in order to travel to Asia and Europe at least once, and that happened. I dream of a world governed by compassion, not conflict. I've learned about the age and have, sorry, I'm having trouble reading this one. I've learned about the age and love my family too.
And I have a few more very moving ones. I never thought I'd have 2 smart, healthy, kind kids, but now I do. Parentheses, most of the time. I assume maybe they're smart most of the time. My dream as a young person was personal. I wanted to be a minister like the young one I met. Ministering is what I have done, just not as a church leader. Thank you to whoever is out there ministering. I was in need of an adventure just as I was turning 40. One snowy February morning when I should have been at work, but wasn't due to a school snow day, I received a phone call inviting me to join the first trip to Transylvania in 1994. Never in a million years would I have imagined being there. What an adventure changed my life. Good testament for those baked potatoes. And this one. When my daughter was 15 months old and I was diagnosed with cancer, I didn't dare to dream I would see her grow up and graduate from high school. Today she is 29 years old and makes me prouder every day and more grateful to share the time with her.
Share a couple more. When I was working, I dreamed of being able to spend as much time as I wanted to on my art. Now I'm retired, and that dream has finally come true at last. I never thought I'd have friends that stayed since I was 3, and they have turned into family. I dreamed of one day becoming a teacher, but never really thought I would. It took 15 years, but I have been a teacher for 26 years now. And God bless the teachers. And this is just a picture of a smiling face. Moving to Bedford to be physically closer to this community, and I dreamed I would have wonderful, loving children to share my life with.
All right. One person says, I have a relationship with my sister. This one's a bit of a fun one. To marry a man with an English accent. Very specific dream. Congrats to you, and you got to have a rehearsal dinner in a castle, too. To travel, another one from Zoom, to travel and live in a different country, learn a language, and be able to travel as a tourist in Europe as a child. Went to Salzburg, Austria, and was able to live there for 5 years, playing music and co-founding a chamber orchestra. Later spent a year living in Mexico, learning languages I didn't think possible. And then this one is very sweet. I didn't know this was a dream, but the dream come true for me is this congregation. Thank you.
Didn't come true. I never became first chair clarinetist in a major symphony. Did come true. I married Prince Charming. Finding a place of worship that is welcoming and inclusive. A dream we become citizens, stewards of our planet. Getting along with my sister. Doesn't say if that's still a dream or if that's actually coming true.
Thank you all for sharing your dreams. It's a beautiful thing to know what is possible even when we don't know if it will ever happen. Whether our dreams are to sing a hymn in tune or to live long enough to see our child graduate, whether it's a dream we didn't know we had, like this congregation, or a dream of being back in relationship with someone, these dreams are possible. Thank you all for making so many dreams a reality, and for all those that were submitted that are dreams for what we can become. We will keep working on them, and I believe that they will come true.
Thank you. So Mira, in Nate's story, is asked, what made her town different from the others? What made her town special? And she says, we imagined the world that we wanted to be a part of, and then we practiced leaving space for it to show up. I feel like our service today is a continuation of Reverend Annie's excellent sermon from last week. And if you haven't seen it yet, that is what YouTube is for. Reverend Annie reminded us to dream big, not just for ourselves, but for the world, to allow ourselves to imagine the world as we really want it to be, whatever that looks like for us, and then not to shrink away from that vision. She asked us not to trade our dreams of the world as it could be for the smallest world that we think might be possible. Maybe because someone has convinced us that only this is possible and no more than this is actually possible. Or maybe we're afraid that only a small world is really possible for ourselves or for our neighbors, and we kind of mold our dreams to fit it into the shape of our fears. But no, Annie said, we can dream it, we can do our best to live into it, inch toward it in daily choices. Let's not make our dreams smaller, she said. Many impossible things have been accomplished and can be accomplished still. That was last Sunday. Many impossible things have been accomplished and can be accomplished still. And I want to offer just a small example of this. When I was in Minneapolis with the clergy who went to Minneapolis a few weeks ago, we went out into the community and visited a lot of places and saw a lot of different things. And in particular, one group that I was with, we visited a church. And it was a church in downtown Minneapolis that had created a program to help feed people who were now afraid to leave their homes to go get food themselves. Because of the way that government agents were targeting people in their community, it was not safe for them to go out shopping. It was not safe for them to go visit a food pantry if a food pantry was helping them get food. So this pastor of this church thought, maybe we can match up people who need food delivered to them with people who would be willing to make those deliveries if we pulled together some food to give them. So they put together a Google form that they thought families could sign up if they had this need. And then they could collect those forms and kind of match drivers to them. And they did that, and they put it out on the internet, and they thought we might get 10 families that are going to have this need. And by the end of the first day, there were hundreds of families that had submitted their names. And within a week, it was thousands of families that had submitted their names. And when we visited, on the morning that we visited, the church was providing meals to 1,500 families that day, and 16 to 20,000 families over the course of a month. And if you had asked the pastor, who had never done anything like this, he was not a professional food service manager or anything like that, if you had asked him, do you think that your church could feed 16, 20,000 families a month? I'm sure the pastor would have said, that's impossible. That could not happen. And certainly nothing would have prepared them for this possibility, but that is in fact what they're doing. And fortunately, the pastor didn't have to know what is and isn't possible. The pastor just had to know what he wanted. He wanted a world where people are safe and a world where people are fed. And he made space for that world to show up in his community. And he belonged to a community of people who also made space. And in Minneapolis, they're making space for the world they want to see primarily by saying yes to each small opportunity to create that world. And he talked about taking those small steps towards the world we imagine. And people are doing things that they didn't know could be done. They're doing things they didn't know they personally could even do. And it's happening because people say yes before they know what is and isn't possible. And in so doing, they're making space for the impossible to show up. And it is a practice, right? Practice is an important word. As every music student knows, to practice a scale or a song or a rhythm is to do something regularly, consistently, faithfully, until it becomes internalized and automatic, until it becomes like muscle memory. And one of the things that they're practicing in Minneapolis is just saying yes. And then they practice trusting each other. It's critically important. And they practice trying new things without having to know in advance what is and isn't possible. Try something, learn, adapt, try something new, try something else. Trust the people around you and say yes to the things you can say yes to. And I want to expand on that a little bit because In ministry, a lot of times we talk about the sacred no, right? Because no is actually a very important word in the life of a community, and boundaries are important. And so we say to people, say no to the things you need to say no to so you can say yes to the things that you can say yes to, or say no to something so that someone else can say yes to that thing, right? And that's how we practice doing community together, because not everyone can say yes to everything or should say yes to everything, but there are times, I think, in the life of a community, and there are times in the life of a people or a nation where, yes, we still need that sacred no, but the practice needs to be saying yes. And specifically in Minneapolis, the organizers who met with us said what we need in communities all around this world is people who are prepared to say yes when that call comes, even if they don't know if it's possible, even if they don't know how they're going to do it, even if they don't know if they can do it. Say yes and see what that door opens up into, and see where it leads. And oftentimes, if we practice saying yes, we might find that we are able to do things we didn't know we could do, that we have more energy than we thought we might have, that we have resources that are yet untapped, and we do this, again, in community, supporting and encouraging each other. And in order to feed 16,000 families, 20,000 families, they had to say yes to it before they had all the answers. And that pastor and those people had to ask many, many people to help them out, and those people also had to say yes. They had to trust that people would do all those jobs, big and small. They had to trust they could rely on each other, and they had to grow and adapt, and they did all those things. So on the day that we visited, there were dozens and dozens of volunteers at work processing food deliveries in this giant assembly line that was happening inside this church, like a well-oiled machine. People like passing boxes down the line and putting things together around a giant table. There were hundreds of volunteers overall with all kinds of different roles and responsibilities. There were teams and team leaders. There were systems for processing orders. Drivers had to be trained and vetted, and on and on. They built all of that from the ground up, not knowing that that's what they were building until it actually happened. And they were still learning and adapting and changing all the time, because needs and circumstances were also changing. So they were flexible and they were creative. And this is just one small example, or maybe it's a big example, but we know that miracles like this are happening all around the country. They don't all have to be as big as this. Miracles big and small are happening all around the country, wherever people are coming together to imagine something new and to make space for the possibility. And it might look like a food pantry. Bedford has some experience of late of creating a food pantry. It might look like an independent school or a community arts center. It might look like 4 friends starting a band. It might look like a church, or it might look like a Pay It Forward Facebook group. It might look like a neighborhood where people are getting to know each other and watch out for each other, which is a radical act in many communities. It might look like starting a gay-straight alliance club in your school. It might look like independent journalists out on the streets documenting community events with their phones. And as we all know, we only know the truth about many recent events because citizens have been out in the streets documenting things with their phones. Whether or not they ever imagined that they could do something like that, they are out doing it. And in this present moment in Massachusetts, it looks like groups like Beyond, or Luce, or Fuerza, or UU Mass Action, and many, many others. Communities that are creating things that did not exist because they're saying yes and making it happen. And even closer still to home, it might look like dozens of people standing with signs out along Great Road week after week for more than 40 weeks now, in rain or shine or amidst great drifts of snow, giving witness to the world that they're dreaming of. Creating the world we dream of is a practice. It is a practice first of even letting ourselves dream to begin with and dream big. It is a practice of not pretending to know in advance what is possible. That is above our pay grade, as they say. Let God or the universe worry about what is possible. It is a practice of making space for the world we want to see by saying yes to every small step that gets us closer. We can't say yes to everything, but we can practice saying yes to what we can. And then it's a practice of trusting the people around us, of letting them say yes, of empowering each other, of relying on each other. And finally, it is a practice of trying and learning and trying and learning. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to have all the answers. As it turns out, we won't have all the answers, but we will have each other. In the end, the things we practice are the things we get good at. So let's practice love. Let's practice community. Let's practice trust. And let's practice saying yes to each small step towards the world that we are dreaming of. As the poet said, listen to the mustn'ts, child, listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves, then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. Our closing hymn today is number 168, One More Step. Please rise in body or spirit. Our closing words today are this classic by Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has, and maybe that group is you. And now we extinguish the flame of our chalice, but not the light of understanding, the warmth of compassion, or the fire of commitment. Let us take those with us until we meet again. Go in peace.